Mm. Mhm.
Good morning.
Ajja kufuna obuzibu era talina kyakukola, ajja kubufuna. You continue teaching.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry for the interruption that has at the beginning. I presume that today is the 20th. Okay. Now, the last time we have interacted, we we have been dealing with. Remember, we have two papers: paper one and then paper three. Um, Today, because our interaction is not going to be very, it's not going to be very so much of. I don't know how many other times we are likely to meet again. I would like to propose that I go through some bit of paper three, and then later on, towards the end of the lesson, I'll give you some revision work for paper one. The challenge is that it's not easy for me to get feedback, especially when it comes to paper one. And yet, feedback is very important so that we do not just have to give you work or which work is not supervised or it is not assessed or marked for that matter, because we have to keep improving. So it continues to be a bit of a challenge. But as far as paper three is concerned, I want to say that I want to go through some bit of building drawing paper 3, 735 stroke 3. That is building drawing. Um, Maybe to make a brief review of what we went through. Um, I would like to us to remind ourselves that in building drawing, uh, the syllabus or the outline for building drawing is not that very wide. It is a simple one. So we can talk about um, symbols. Symbols. We talk about the use of the scale, and then we talk about the use of uh, the principal views. So once we understand the symbols and their use and how they are used, we also need to understand the scale and how it is used. And then we need to understand which are the principal views. We have to remember that the principal views include the floor plans, they include the elevations, and under elevations, we look at the front elevation, the end elevations, then you also have the rear elevations. The end elevations can be two. Then you also have the front and the rear. Then other than that, we also have the section elevations, section end elevation. They can be they can be sectioned end elevations. But this one particularly, we are talking about the vertical section through the building. And then we also have the freehand pictorial and pictorial. We have the freehand pictorial sketch. In fact, it's a sketch, not just pictorial, but it is a sketch. Freehand, meaning that we have to use our hands free, no instruments. Freehand pictorial. Then uh, develop a picture of the building. And then, other than this, we also have what we call building details. They are also part of the outline. So, in brief, this one is the outline for paper 3, building drawing. That is as how simple it is. Although I don't want to say it is very simple, because all these that I have listed, they require understanding, internalizing, and then um, practicing, because you don't go through them once and then you have understood. We all understand also that there are different buildings. We talk about residential buildings. We talk about commercial buildings and all that. Okay, a minute, please. Hello. Someone. Ati mbadde nkubuuza oba onoyitira mu ofiisi eyo. Ojja waliwo ka section ke twerabidde okusayininga ku foomu eri gye nakulazeeko. Kale haali tujja biraba oluvannyuma. Naawe ngenda okuziika. Kanziramu okukubireko haaki. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. The head teacher had called me and I had some important message for him. But what I was saying was that this is the outline for paper 3. It is the outline for paper 3. And this is how we have to internalize it. Of course, we have to go through it several times. The symbols and the scale, these ones, we keep seeing them right from the beginning up to the end. The use of the scale, understanding the symbols, which symbol is on the floor plan, which symbol is on the elevation, which symbol goes on the cross section. I think you have to also to put it into your minds that you need to understand these symbols. You need to understand the scale, how the scale is used, and let it be part of you. Every time you look at, you are interacting with building drawing, you must think about the symbols, you must think about the scale, think about, yeah? So that way, you keep perfecting, try to keep perfecting until you get it. So the symbols and the scale, this one is a common song in building drawing. And as we continue interacting, or as we continue moving with it up to the end of Senior 4, please try to understand the symbols and the use of the scale better and better. Then the principal views, the floor plans. Usually the floor plan is the first thing that we are given in any exercise or exam. So we begin with the floor plan. Usually the floor plan is the reference. It is the reference part of it. And then it is from the floor plan that we begin to develop other views. The elevations are all developed after obtaining the floor plan. Once we have obtained the floor plan, then we can be able to develop the front elevation. We can be able to develop the end elevations. We can be able to understand or to develop the rear elevations. Then we also have the section elevation, which is also developed from the floor plan. And then we also have building details. Building details, in this case, these ones which we had not introduced to them, but building details concerned issues to do with walls. We have floors, we have doors, we have windows, we have roofs, I think basically that is all at this level, because some other stuff, not all stuff is all at this. Because building drawing continues to A level, some other sections are reserved for advanced level. But this is a part that we had not touched by the time we left, we closed. And I think we shall find time to look at it, inshallah. But I wanted to emphasize that this is the outline for building drawing. It's not very big. That is one thing which should encourage you and encourage all of us to be part of it. And then But also, on the other hand, it should not keep you lazy, because these parts, or these aspects of the the, the building drawing, they need a lot of practice. They need you to do them so many times so that you understand, so many times so that you perfect, so many times so that you are able to do it in a shorter time. Because building drawing takes a lot of time, that means that you as a student, you must learn to do whatever you are doing in a shorter time. Uh, if you don't do that, then there are chances that you can never complete this paper or this exam concerning this building drawing. So that's why I request you and I implore you to ensure that you will do all these as many times as possible. Um, at the end of the day, I mean at the end of the, the lesson, I think I'll give you uh, at the end of the lesson, I'll give you my WhatsApp number, so that if somebody can begin a WhatsApp group, probably we can be able to interact a little more and maybe share, because these aspects here, they require continuous reminder, continuous understanding, um, uh, continuously, yeah, so that you practically understand them much better. Um, so today, after going through the outline for building drawing, uh, I would like to focus on maybe the freehand pictorial, freehand pictorial. The freehand pictorial is one of the principal views in building drawing, and it is derived from the floor plan. Once you have the floor plan, then you can be able to derive it and be in position to work it out. But like the name suggests, freehand pictorial sketch. The freehand pictorial sketch. And when we are drawing the freehand pictorial sketch, of course, we are given the floor plan. Uh, and then after being given the floor plan, we are also given the specifications. We're given the specifications. Um, then we are given the lowest point, and then we are also given the floor plan. Those three, those three are the ones which help us to develop a freehand pictorial sketch. The floor plan, the floor plan, once we are given the floor plan, for example, we can have this, assuming that each line is representing a wall. Then we also have these ones are representing windows. Then we have the door. Suppose this one is the sitting room, sitting. And this one is the bedroom. if that is our given floor plan, and then we are required to draw a freehand pictorial, then we are also given the lowest point. We can call this lowest point Q. We are given the lowest point Q, and then I said that in order to draw a pictorial, we must have a floor plan which is there as an example, then the lowest point Q this time, and then you are also given the specifications. Specifications are concerning these windows. For example, window 1, and this is window 2. Maybe this one is also window 2, window 2, window 1. Then that this is door 1 and this one is door 2. So what it means in that case is that window 1, whenever there is window 1, it means that that window is of the same size. It is of the same size, or of the same specifications. So it also means that if you have a window 1, then there are 2 windows. In this case, we have 2 windows of the same size, which are similar. And one is here at the front, and in fact, they are both at the front. And window 1 is different from window 2. And here, window 2, we have 3 window 2s. That means that a house has 5 windows. The house has 5 windows, but 3 of the windows are of the same measurement and of the same size specifications, or they are similar. And then the other 2 are also similar, but different from the other ones, of course. Then we have the doors. There are 2 doors in the building, and we have door 1 and also have door 2. And what that one means is that door 1 and door 2 are different. It means that door 1 is different from door 2. Now, we may also be given on the floor plan, usually can be given this one is called the roof plan, or the roof line. The roof plan or the roof line. So the roof plan of the roof line also guides us on how the roof, or how the formation of the roof in the building is made. So once we have the once we have the specifications will be my particular information that concerns this particular building. For example, in the specifications, we shall be given that window 1 is 1,500 wide by 1,200 high. The width and then the height. And some other information, maybe wooden casement or metallic and so on. Then we can also have window 2, which can be given to us as maybe 1,400 wide by 1,200 high. This information here, we classify it as the specifications. We classify it as specifications. And all other information that may be given concerning, for example, the The roof can be given as empty roof, maybe empty roof at 30 degrees to the horizontal. Right? Then some other members of the hipped roof could be given, such as corrugated iron sheets, maybe information to do with rafters, other members of the roof, rafters. Maybe rafters are 100 by 50. We have purlins, which are also like 100 by 50. And then we have struts and the ties, maybe 100 by 50. We have the wall plate, which can be 100 by 75. We have the tie beam, which could be 150 by 50. And or any other information that may be helpful in understanding what is concerning this particular building. Those are all what we call specifications. There can also be more specifications about the door. In this case, door 1. Door 1, they can tell you that maybe it is 1,200 wide by 2,400 high. That is one example. The door 2 is, maybe you can say it is 850 wide by 1,002. So by maybe 2,100 high. All this information is referred to as specifications. So we're basically looking at a situation where we are looking at the freehand pictorial. If we are to make a good freehand pictorial, then we need to have the specifications, we need to know the lowest points, and we need to know the floor plan. In other words, you as a student, once you are given the floor plan, and then you are also in position to know which one is the lowest point that has been given, and then you need also to understand the specifications. Specifications, the information that concerns this particular building, so that you are able to interpret or use this information to put it on into perspective there, so that you are able to use it when you are developing the freehand pictorial. So what I also wanted to emphasize that this freehand pictorial sketching, it is also not a one-time off. It is something which you must be able to do every time, so that you keep improving it. Because at the beginning, as you may be aware, at the beginning, you may find it a little bit challenging to make a good sketch. You may find it a bit challenging to make a good sketch. But as you do it better and better, or as you do it more and more times, you will keep improving it. That's why I'm saying that there should be a personal initiative for you as an individual to make as many freehand sketches as you can in order to improve. Because here, what we are doing here is to make a sketch of a building. It's a freehand sketch of a building. But when you are at home or when you are outside the classroom, you can even make a freehand sketch of a table, or make a freehand pictorial sketch of a chair, make a freehand pictorial sketch of maybe a TV, anything that is near you. So that one is it's a skill which you keep building on. For some people who are lazy, or some people who think that they are going to do it once, then you are likely not to capture it as such. You must have done it several times in order for it to be part of you. So we are looking at the freehand pictorial sketch. It is one of the principal views that we have seen there, and we are looking at a situation on how we can make a good one, because we always want a good one. Now, uh, a good freehand pictorial, if you want to make a good freehand pictorial, you need to put some aspects in your mind. Just like we have talked about the specifications, the lowest point, um, first, if you are to make a good freehand pictorial, one thing is that you must identify the lowest point. Identify the given lowest point. For this case, we have been given the lowest point as point Q here. It's here at this corner. So if that is the lowest point that we have talked about, then you must identify it and say it is here. It is not here, it is not there, it is not there. Usually the lowest point that is given is a corner, one of the corners of the building. So identifying it means that where is it positioned? It is here, not any other point. That is the lowest point that has been given. Then, when you are drawing the freehand pictorial, you must also put into consideration the specifications. The given specifications, you must try to put them into consideration. You have to read this list here of specifications and then understand. Here, there may be some information that was not given. We can say, if we want to make it more clear, let us say that this one is louvered. Even this one is also louvered. Then that the doors are metallic. This one is metallic, and this one is wooden. All this information is usually given under what we have classified as specifications. It is usually given. So that when you are reading the specifications, you are reading that the windows are louvered, because you are going to draw a freehand pictorial. Or you are looking at a certain door and it is metallic, because when we are drawing the freehand pictorial, we are drawing the outside of the building based on that lowest point. So on the outside of the building, you are going to see a certain door, you are going to see a certain window, but you are asking ourselves that which window is that? Is it wooden? Is it metallic? Is it louvered? It is of which, because you are going to sketch it on the paper. But again, the purpose of the freehand pictorial is to try to get closer to the reality of how that building is likely to be. So that when you are being asked by someone regarding that particular floor plan, that how would this house look like when it is complete? This is the essence of the freehand pictorial. In the computer world, there is what they call artistic impression. That the artistic impression is that picture that puts the person who wants to build that house into the mode, that how is that house going to look like. You have seen pictures where somebody has drawn a nice, has developed using the computer software. Somebody has been able to develop a nice house. Then around the house, he has tried to put there the maybe the compound. There is a car there. There are some trees in the compound and some maybe flowers and so on. That is what we call freehand. Artistic impression. But when it comes to building drawing here, for us we only draw the house or the building, and then we don't have to decorate it with the trees and flowers around the house because that one is at another level now. At this our level or level, this is what we only need. So you need to look at the specifications so that when you are making this sketch, you need to make it as close to the reality as possible. Um, Now, the other thing you need to consider is we call this one um, proportionality. Yeah? The freehand pictorial sketch should be proportional. Being proportional means that it should be balanced. Like if somebody is making a picture of a human being, we are saying that for that picture to be balanced, it will mean that the head is a head, yeah? The body is big, or if it is a big person, fat, then this person must also have a large head, probably, that matches with the rest of the body, yeah? Or the legs of this big person must also be sizable enough so that they match with the rest of the body. So what we call being out of proportion is for somebody to have a large body and then a very small, a very tiny head or very tiny legs. So in proportionality here, when it comes to the building, you want to make sure that your sketch or the sketch that you are making, it gives the person a clearer picture of how the sizes on the building keep relating with one another. How do these sizes vary with each other? Because as we have seen here, we have 5 windows. There is window 1 and then there is window 2. Window 1 has 2 and then window 2 has 3 of them. Then there is also door 1 and then there is door 2. What's on the freehand pictorial, we are not going to draw door 2 because door 2 is an interior door. But the point I want to focus on here is that window 1 and the window 2 are of different sizes. So when you make a freehand pictorial, and on that freehand pictorial, there is window 1 on one side and window 2 on another side. Or maybe window 1 on and window 2 are both on the same side. Huh? If that is the case, then we would like to see how these two windows differ because they are not of the same size. So on your freehand picture, you make sure that window 1 and window 2 are not of the same size because they are different according to the specifications that were given. So if you have drawn window 1 and then in window 2, and that window 1 and window 2, one of them is bigger, and that you are trying to show us that they are both of the same size, then that the freehand pictorial sketch is out of proportion. So that is what proportionality is about. That when we are making the freehand pictorial, we have to look at the various sizes. Even the length of the building and the width of it, these two are different. The length, then the width, they are different. The length and the width are different. So when you are making the freehand pictorial, you may find that you have to see that when somebody is looking at that picture, you should say that this one is the length and this one is the width. not vice versa. The length and the width, which is which, so that you don't create confusion that the person cannot even understand which one is the length and which one is the width. So that is about proportionality. Even in other terms, we also have windows and doors. Then we also have ventilators there. So when you look at a window and a door, then there is a ventilator. There is a window, there is a door, there is a ventilator. Some people, by their freehand pictorial, they tend to draw the window or the ventilator is bigger than the window. Yeah? The ventilator is bigger than the window. So, which is which? The ventilator should not be bigger than the window. It is the window that is bigger than the ventilator. So that is all about proportionality. So that we do not confuse these two. Huh? We do not confuse the measurements. Now, when we are drawing the freehand pictorial, when we are making the freehand pictorial, of course we are drawing what is outside, the outside part of the building. We are not drawing the interior because the pictorial is a picture that we want to show. I want to show you that this one is the picture of the building. So that's why we have to consider the lowest point. Maybe let me make some adjustment because of this point that I chose. I can call this one window 2 and maybe remove this one. Because of this one, this lowest point that I chose, let me transfer window 2 to the other side. So, when we begin drawing the freehand pictorial, you begin from what we have given as the lowest point. This lowest point, sometimes it is called the lowest point, or it can be called the point in the foreground. It can also be called the point in the foreground. Because if there is a picture, there is always a point in the foreground, then there is also what we call background. The lowest point, the point in the foreground, then there is also a point in the background. So this lowest point is one of the guides to the freehand pictorial. It's one of the most important guides for freehand pictorial. So I'm using this one as an example, but so we shall use it to develop a freehand pictorial in that regard. So if we begin from here and say that this is the lowest point Q was given as the lowest point Q. That is the lowest point Q. So we begin from there. So when you're making the freehand pictorial, because it is an isometric sketch, and you remember that when we are making isometric, then we begin with those 3 lines. We begin with the 3 lines of an isometric drawing. The one that shows the length, another one that shows the width, another one that is defining the height. So you begin with these 3 lines. This one is for the width, this one is for the length, and that one is for the height. Yeah? They help us to define the building because the building is a 3-dimensional object. It is 3-dimensional object. So if you don't consider the 3 dimensions at the beginning, then it will be difficult for us to to make it clear. You have to define the length, you have to define the width, you have to define the height. So the proportion suggests that, for example, if this side here is like 8,000 and this one is like 4,500. If these are the proportions, 8,000 then 4,500. Then by our mathematics, this one here appears like this one is slightly longer. This one is about half. 4,500 is slightly more than half of this. Or we can say that 8,000 is almost twice this one. So when you are making the freehand pictorial, then you have to put. We are not meant to take any measurements. Don't get your ruler to take any measurements, but by your eyes and as somebody who is getting experience, skilled, by your skill and eyes, you say that let this 4,500 end here, and then by your eyes again, then say that maybe let 8,000 maybe end there. That one we use estimating. We simply estimate. We use our eyes and our estimation skills to estimate and say that let it be like that. But because this is our lowest point, Q is the lowest point, or the point in the foreground. We have talked about being the foreground or being the lowest. By making this diagram here, this point is the lowest. It comes at the bottom. And then we can also say that it is a point that is in the foreground. It is nearer you. It is 4. Then all these other points go into what we call the buffer ground. So if this is Q, then we have to have it in our minds that these are the measurements. Probably this one is 8,000 and this one is 4,000. Without necessarily taking the measurements. You don't have to take the measurements. So, when you develop the freehand pictorial, again, because this is a building, you keep improving it. Try to create what we call a building there. Then this one here is likely to be the. This one is likely to be the ring beam. We call it the ring beam. It is also given under specifications. You can be given the specifications of the ring beam. Some information may be given about the ring beam. So this ring beam can be at a certain height, but based on these specifications, you'll be able to use it somehow. You'll be able to use it. So if at this level here, you realize that with the reference to point Q, we have window 1 on the immediate left, then we have door 1 in the middle, and we also have window 1 on the immediate, on the extreme left. So when we are developing the freehand pictorial, you have to look at these members here, the window 1, door 1, window 1. And then you try to position them there. So that the person who is looking at the building with reference to Q will be able to say that here there is a window, right? And then here there is a door. And also here there is a what? Another window. We position the windows there and the doors there. Then we also have another window in the sides here. We also have another window in the sides. So we are trying to develop the freehand pictorial, and we are basing on the position of point Q, the lowest point. So we have window 2 on the right. We have window 1, door 1, and window 1 on the left. So if it is a house that you are building, you keep building it, so that we take note that there will be a ventilator above the window, and there will also be another ventilator above each window and each door. That above each door there is a ventilator, and above each window there is another ventilator. And then we shall include the roof. This is a freehand pictorial. And then we shall include the window. We are given that the windows are louvered. The window is louvered. These are louvered windows. So you bring in that element of louvered. Use your skills. You have to use your skill to bring it to the attention of the person who is looking at the drawing, so that when somebody is looking at the drawing, doesn't have to ask so many questions. That which kind of window is this one? So even the door, so depending on your skill and how much time you have, you try to make this building as neat or as clear as you can. Okay, that is what we can maybe so this is something which you have to keep improving. You keep improving it until you come up with something that is reasonably done, to give us the impression that this one is the freehand pictorial of the building. Because this one now comes up as the roof. This is the hip of the roof. So maybe the roof here was given, it was given as the hipped roof. And then the door 1 is the one that is at the front there. It is metallic. Door 1 is metallic. Then door 2 is inside the building. Therefore, by that freehand pictorial sketch, it won't be seen. The freehand pictorial sketch cannot show us the door 2. Then you have to take note of this. We're talking about proportionality. This is the ventilator, this is the window. And for purposes of emphasis, I say that maybe it is not very significantly different, but window 2 was slightly bigger. Window 2 was slightly smaller. Yeah, I wanted it just to make it more significant, different. That window 1 and window 2 are not of the same size. Then these ones are almost becoming of the same size. Window 1 and window 2. The difference was not very big. That's why it is appearing a bit confusing for us. But the point here is that window 1, this is window 1 and this is window 1. Then this one is window 2. So when you're making the freehand pictorial, you try to bring it out that these are two different. So we have also emphasized that the length, this is the length, which is this one here, and this is the width, which is this one. The length and the width should correspond, should appear different, just like it is here on the floor plan. The length and the width should be different. Then the windows, I've talked about window 1 and window 2. This is window 1, window 1, window 1. Then this is window 2. Window 1 was 1,500 and window 2 was 1,400. Maybe it's just slightly different. Just slightly different. But on the sketch here, they should be appearing different because they are not of the same size. Then we also have the roof, which was given as the hipped roof, which you should also be in position to bring out here. And then this one is the veranda. This one is the veranda. Or sometimes we just call it the splash apron. It is a splash apron. It is also usually given in the specifications here. Splashy. It is usually 600. Again, when we are drawing, when we are making the splash apron as part of the pictorial, again we have to put into consideration. Put into consideration the size, so that it should not be out of proportion. Yeah, maybe I want to make another sketch here, which you can be able to compare with that one. Suppose this is what I have drawn, calling it the freehand pictorial in that case. Another person can make such a sketch relating to that particular drawing and still says that this one is pointy. So if you call it just point Q like that, and that this is the door one, maybe something is missing. Then this particular drawing has issues in as far as freehand pictorial drawing is concerned. First, the length. This one is calling this one the length, and that the length is being much shorter than the what? The width. So it is out of proportion. Yeah? The length is shorter than the width. That makes it out of proportion. Then you look at these windows. This is window 1, which was meant to be bigger, and you look at window 2, which is meant to be smaller. Out of proportion. Out of proportion. You look at the ventilators. Much bigger. The ventilators. Too big compared to to the windows. In fact, this ventilator and this window are almost the same size. Whereas in practice, the ventilator and the window are two different sized items on the building. So when we are developing the freehand pictorial, it's important that you try as much as you can to bring out the picture. It is important as much as you can to bring closer to reality of what you are trying to draw, so that you don't just leave it there and that's the person who is going to look at it is the one who is going to ask themselves the question and then answer them. The pictorial should be talking by itself. It should talk by itself. No one should be talking for it. That this is the lowest point Q. If Q is there, Q is there. Then what about the rest of the drawing, the rest of the building? So when you compare this one and this one, then I think we get the picture of what a good freehand pictorial should be. I don't know whether we can get room for questions. Is there room for questions in this regard? Any questions? Are there any questions? So in other words, this one is the wrong one. And then this one will be the correct freehand pictorial. That one will be the correct freehand pictorial. So that when you compare this one and the other one, then you are able to take on which one is better, which one should be the ideal. Now, I wanted to leave that bit of freehand pictorial there. If there are no questions, that is to say, I wanted to leave that bit of freehand pictorial there, so that as part of the homework, maybe I can give a small homework. I can give a small homework in that regard. Homework. Maybe this time it is serious. It is for the home, For the home. You write that one down as our homework, or this one here should be able to help, or should help in, first of all, practicing. Now, when you're practicing, then it gives you the opportunity to make all the mistakes that you can make. Make all the mistakes that you can make. There's an issue of beginning freehand at the beginning. Then another person can begin like this. Other people begin like this. Another person can begin like this. All of these are approaches. All of these are basically approaches, but which one is better? Of course, this one is the best, and this one is too steep, this one is too. So when you are considering the freehand pictorial, you are considering to make the freehand pictorial. The pictorial should be isometric. Pictorial, isometric, not oblique. Not oblique. It is pictorial, isometric, not oblique. So if it is isometric, then this is the one. In isometric, we try to make this one here. If this is the horizontal, this one is 30 degrees. This one is also 30 degrees. Of course, in isometric, we make these ones approximate. Those are approximate because we don't take any measurement for that matter. So that's why this one here becomes faulty. Because which angle is this one here? And then even this one here, which angle is that? This one is almost becoming 45 or 60. Is it 45 or 60? So you have to, when you're beginning, at the beginning, you try to make this one isometric, not oblique. So it should be isometric, not oblique. So don't make one side flat and another one. So that is the purpose of this homework. is the purpose of the homework. That you keep trying it out. When you keep trying it out, then it means that as you do the next one, then you are in position to improve. When you do the next one, then you can be able to improve. When you do the next one, then you improve. That is why it's important for us to take on this particular homework. So that you make an isometric, pictorial isometric, not oblique, because both isometric and oblique are pictorial drawings. But when we are making freehand pictorial in building drawing, it is isometric. It is isometric, not oblique. So I wanted to leave that one there. I want to leave that one there. And then exercise. Paper 1, homework exercise.
Yes. Mm.
So this one is a question on link mechanism, which we have done before we broke off. And if we can go through it together, the crank OA revolves around a fixed point O. OA, this is OA that revolves. The word revolving here, in this case, revolving. Need to take note of these terms. The word revolving means that it makes a complete revolution. Revolution. Yeah? It makes a complete revolution. So the crank OA revolves around a fixed point O. Then there is a rod PQ. There is a rod PQ which is pin jointed to the crank at A. Pin jointing means that we have a free joint there, that it is not a fixed one, it's a free joint. That is what we call pin jointing. Huh? So the rod PQ is pin jointed to the crank at A. PQ is permitted to slide through point B. Through point B. Then you are required to plot the locus of P and Q for a full revolution of OA. Plot the locus of P and Q for a full revolution of OA. So I want this one to be done as a home exercise, so that you try to remember what we were trying to do before we broke off. It is certainly still very unfortunate that we cannot interact face to face, but you need to keep the candle burning. I would like to share my contact. I want to share this contact so that those with whom we can be able to interact, we can interact, or whoever is good enough and can help us form a group for interaction. It will help us, to keep the candle burning as we see what is happening, because there is still a lot of time. If schools are to open in January, then it means that we need to continue interacting, somehow, whether mildly or somehow, somewhere, we need to continue the interaction. But for today, I want to appreciate whoever has been on the system, that we have been able to go through freehand pictorial sketching. We have gone through that. But before that, we went through building drawing and its syllabus outline, and to give us a review, or to see how, uh, to give us a clearer picture of how we should be able to work, to understand this building drawing. Um, but the most important thing is that you need to understand the outline of building drawing, and then you practice, because the syllabus is not very big, but it is about conceptualizing, redoing and redoing, getting understanding speed, how you get into doing something a little bit faster, so that you don't complain all the time that the time is not enough. Um, and then, so from here we went there. Then we managed to sketch that one, and once we have sketched it, then we also draw another one here, which can give you a different picture of how pictorial drawing is done. And then I wanted also to give this question here, which you can use during your free time. You can work it out. And I also told you to look for this book, but I don't know whether people have it. There is a book called Mastering Technical Drawing. eh? Technical Drawing by FX Mazera. Please, if it is possible, you look up that book, find it, you buy it, and then you use that book as part of your revision. Use it. There are so many questions there in all the topics that we have done and those which we have not done. I think if you're able to acquire this book, then it will keep you busy throughout the holiday, so that when we meet again, or if you have something to ask, then you call this number, and then we try to share and keep the candle burning. At the end, it is our obligation to finally to succeed, or to make it to distinctions and good credits, distinctions and good credits, so that uh, this COVID-19 situation is no longer uh, an excuse for all of us. I would like to thank you very much. Please uh, have a nice day, or have a nice weekend for that matter. Good afternoon. How to get the chapter? Head stream.
Bado winding up ends. Umaze dda?